Good day. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the biology practical specimen for the Wassce 2023 Nigeria. We're going to be looking at the specimen. We're going to have three parts of this video. So the first part, we're going to do specimen A to D. Then from the second part, specimen E to J. Then the last part, specimen K to N. So I admonish you to take out your writing materials and jot down important points that I'm going to be driving across. And hopefully we'll get clarity. So I'm going to state out the specimen. I'm going to call it out, so you can jot down. In case you didn't get anything I said, you can always swipe back to listen to it again. Alright, so we'll start by specimen A. Specimen A is matured fresh eggs of catfish. Specimen B is fresh egg of domestic fowl, raw with shell intact. Specimen C is a picture or model or chart of uterus containing a fetus. Specimen D is the longitudinal section of ovary of Pride of Barbados. Specimen E is leaf of Pride of Barbados. Specimen F is guinea grass, the old plant. Specimen G is cocoyam plant, still the old plant. Specimen H, the corm of cocoyam, the corm of cocoyam. Specimen J, dry humus in a beaker. Specimen K, moist humus in a beaker. Specimen L, ripe orange fruit. Specimen M, longitudinal section of coconut fruit. And specimen N, longitudinal section of fresh chili pepper fruit. Okay, so the materials that will be needed: hand lens or magnifying glass, whichever one you have. Scalpel, razor blade or knife, that's number 2. Number 3, a pair of forceps. Number 4, hand gloves. Number 5, spatula. Number 6, petri dish. Number 7, feline solution A and B. And number 8, iodine solution. Okay, so that's basically the specimen. And yes, in case you're wondering, many of you are asking, you probably say there isn't specimen. I didn't hear I. Yeah, I is not included. So I was, for some reason, excluded. So let's get straight to business. So specimen A, like I said, please ensure you are with your writing materials so that you can jot down important points. This is a dialogue class. In my next class, I will use a board. But for now, I want you to interact. I want you to write down what I'm saying. Okay, so specimen A, let's talk about matured fresh egg of catfish. Now, this particular specimen is actually kind of, it's actually, I would say, it's not really popular because you would have, it's kind of a twist. But regardless, though, let's look at some likely questions that Wassce can ask. I believe that the likelihood of them telling you to draw an egg, a fish egg, it's rather slim. It's just my opinion, though. Yeah, but I admonish you to at least see the diagram and have a scope up and an idea about it. So the first question that they're likely to ask is the features of a catfish, the external or the structural features of a catfish egg. So I have five points here that I wrote. Number 1, no shell. It doesn't have a shell. Number 2, it has little food reserve or yolk. Number 3, eggs, they are laid in group. The eggs of fish are laid in group. They come out in group. They are not laid singularly. Number 5, spherical. It's spherical in shape. It's spherical in shape. It's spherical in shape. Was that number 5? Sorry. I think that was number 4. Number 5, let me give you one more. Chaloza is absent. There is no chaloza in the egg. It's absent. Okay? So in case you didn't get that, you can always go back and listen to me say it again. And I kept the point here. Note. I wrote note. You have to know the difference between fish eggs and domestic fowl eggs and the similarities, because specimen B happens to be domestic fowl egg. So I'm guessing WAEC is going to connect the two puzzles together. They're going to ask you, it's a possibility though, they're going to ask you to differentiate between the fish egg and the domestic fowl egg. So please keep that in mind, and the similarities of course. So let's go to the next likely question of specimen A, the economic importance of fish egg. Yeah. So number 1, it's a source of income. Number 2, it's a source of protein. Number 3, source of omega-3 fatty acid. Yes. Number 4, it can be used for medicinal purpose. Yes. And number 5, source of vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals. WAEC practicals, it's hardly do you hear them ask you to list something that's up to 5 points. It's mostly theory, 4, 2, but it's good to know these things, in essence, so in case you're not going to be caught by surprise. Alright, so that's, in the next specimen B, I'll be giving the difference between the fish egg and the domestic fowl. I'll mangle them together. So specimen B now, fresh egg of domestic fowl, raw with shell intact. So we're going to look at like I said, ensure you get the diagram. Ensure you know the drawing. Drawing is very, very fundamental in biology practical. So the features of domestic fowl eggs is contrast to the fish egg. If you can know the difference between the domestic fowl egg, automatically you will know that what it has, the fish egg does not have. So that is the difference. So number 1, and the way I put the features, I did it in a way that it's contrasting with each other. Just ensure that whatever the fish egg has, the domestic fowl definitely doesn't have it. So that's a different on its own. Okay, we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So number 1, shell present. Number 2, large food reserve. Yes, the domestic fowl egg has a large food reserve and yolk. Number 3, the eggs are laid singularly. They're laid singularly. Number 4, the egg yolk is held by chaloza. That means there's presence of chaloza. Chaloza is present, okay? And lastly, number 5, oval shape. Oval shape, okay? Oval shape. So let's look at the similarities now between specimen A and B. That is the matured fresh egg of catfish, and the fresh egg of the domestic fowl. So the similarities is, number 1, both have food reserves, obviously. Number 2, both have yolks. Number 3, both are oviparous reproduction. They give birth to their young ones. It's oviparous reproduction. You know what oviparous is now? The laying of eggs. Yes, both is a result of oviparous reproduction. Okay. Number 4, both have embryos. Okay, good. So that's the similarities between the specimen A and B. And please remember what I said. In case you didn't get any point, you can always scroll back. You can always replay it and get what I'm saying. Thank you very much. So we go to the economic importance of domestic fowl egg. Number 1, source of income. Number 2, source of protein. Number 3, source of vitamins. Number 4, source of food. Number 5, it ensures the continuity of fowl rearing. It ensures the continuity of fowl rearing. You're able to rear because of their eggs, production. Yeah, so that's basically, I believe that there's a connection between specimen A and B because they're both eggs. One has shell, the other, so there's going to be a likelihood question that's going to link 2 of them together. And in most times, it's differences or similarities. Okay, so specimen C. We're talking about the pictures, the model, or the chart of uterus containing containing a fetus. Okay? Yeah, so if you look at the diagram, of the uterus and the fetus, there are three parts, there are three structures that stand out. The structures are the placenta, the umbilical cord, and the amnion. The amnion. Those are the three things that I want to focus on. So let's look at the adaptive feature of specimen C, that is the uterus containing a fetus. So let's start with placenta. They might ask the function. There's a likely possibility that they will ask you the functions of placenta, umbilical cord, and the amnion. Those are the major players when it comes to the uterus and the fetus. So we'll start with placenta. Number one, placenta. The function of placenta, it joins the embryo and the uterine wall. Okay. Yes. Number two, through placenta, embryo obtains food and oxygen from their mother. Okay. Yes. It also it enables excretion. The baby is able to pass out waste, through the placenta. Number three, it produces hormones, estrogen and progesterone, also known as the pregnancy hormone. So when you go to the next one, umbilical cord. Umbilical cord, it connects the embryo to the placenta. Please do not get it twisted. The placenta connects the embryo to the uterine wall, but the placenta connects the embryo, the umbilical cord, sorry about that. The umbilical cord connects the embryo to the placenta. It's different, okay? Number two, it acts as a support to the embryo. Yes, the embryo is usually suspended by the umbilical cord. It supports it. Yes. And thirdly, the amnion. The amnion. There are just three functions. Number one, it secretes a fluid called the amniotic fluid. Okay, that's the function. Number two, amniotic fluid cushions the fetus against shock. It cushions the fetus against shock, so it protects the fetus from sudden movements. Like for example, if the mother falls down, God forbid, or has maybe she falls down, the baby is protected because of the amnion, the amniotic fluid. Number three, lastly, it reduces friction during birth. Okay? Yeah. So that's basically specimen C. I was thinking about it, that is it possible that they might ask a relationship between specimen A, B, C? I just thought about it now. I didn't write that down. It just came to my head now. Thank you, Lord. I was thinking, they might ask that what is their class? They might ask, and of course, specimen A is Pisces, specimen B is Aves, and specimen C is Mammalia. So they might ask, some characteristics between these three. What they share in common and what they do not. What they share in common, they are both vertebrates. They are warm-blooded. They are both vertebrates. Okay, they are all vertebrates. Okay. Yes. They are vertebrates. They both possess embryos. And so on, something like that. So just you go and go back and find out the relationship between specimen A, B, C. Just thought about it now. Okay. Yeah. Specimen B and C have parental care. Specimen A don't have, except tilapia. Rare. Okay. So I just thought about it now. So let's just continue. Alright, so lastly, for this part one, we have specimen D, the longitudinal section of ovary of pride of Barbados. So the diagram of a flower. Pride of Barbados, cut in half. Literally cut in half, so you can see the internal structure. Yeah, so there are some, let me just read out some things I jotted down. The floral part of specimen D, that's the part. The number of the sepal, they can ask. Number of sepal is 5. Number of petal is 5. The number of filament is 10. the number of the stigma is 1. Yeah. The mode of pollination is insects. Insects are the ones that pollinate it. In fact, any flower, any plant, any flower that has any flower that has petal, it's insect. The type of ovary. Pardon me. The part of ovary. The type of ovary. We have hypogynous ovary. That's the type they might ask. Hypogynous. Then the placentation is marginal. Then the class of fruit is legume. All legumes are marginals. Just keep that in mind. The agent of dispersal, explosive mechanism. Okay. So that's basically it. Yes, they can ask the function of petal. The function of petal is to attract pollinators. The function of sepal is for protection and photosynthesis activity because it's green. The receptacle is to carry the flower. The stigma is to receive pollen grain from the stamen and from the anther. Sorry about that. Anther. Okay. The style is where the pollen grain travels down to the ovary and to the ovule. So yeah. So let me just add this. In flower, we have the male part and the female part. The male part is anther and filamen. Combined together, they are called stamen. While the female part of a flower is the stigma, the style, the ovary and the ovule. You combine them together, they are called carpel or pistil, whichever one you call it. Okay. All right. So that concludes the part 1 of this class. I'm really sorry that I didn't use the blackboard. The next class I'll do that, but I'm very sure that you've gotten 1 or 2 things, important points. I know you already know it. I know that people that are listening to this are already versatile and but I just feel the need to just put this video in mind. I thought it will help for this the upcoming WAEC practical 2023. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I would appreciate it if you like. Yes, if you like and subscribe. I look forward to bringing the next part. Thank you very much. God bless you.